Okay, this is a response to Sullen Girl's video, Self-Injury Awareness Day. I thought, holy crap, has it been a year already? March 1st. I've spent the last week at the hospital, so I understood a lot of the things that she said about the stereotypes and the way that we can be treated at the hospital. There are people I have met that are amazing and want to help me give their 300% all, and it breaks their hearts that I can't get better faster or that I'm not okay. But there are people pains in the asses. Oh my goodness. I had to file a report this time. I'm not one to complain like fast. I can take a lot, but this guy. Okay. I'll admit it. I did something stupid at the hospital, which clearly I hurt myself. And then, consequence was I got tied to the bed. Trust me, I gave them a hell of a fight, but afterwards, I'm totally calm. Okay, well, I got out of the straps first, all four of them, and then hid under the bed, and then they got me back in the bed with stronger straps, and then I was calm, I swear. At that point, I wasn't saying nothing. Except that, the strap on my left foot was really hurting my foot, and they wouldn't believe me. They wouldn't check it, but they'd come in and check the restraints every 15 minutes. And the point of doing that is pretty much to make sure that it's not, cutting off your circulation and it's not in any pain. And I was saying, my foot, it hurts. Do something about it. They said, well, they stick their little fingers in there and they say, oh, there's no space. There's even more space in your other foot. And I'm like, oh, the other one don't hurt. Okay, I'm pissed at the moment, and this is very recent. Okay. So, I tell everybody who comes in, please, the foot. And everyone's, no, it's fine. So by 2 in the morning, I'm hitting the bed with the metal part of my restraints, so that they would come in, and then I said, no, please, the foot, do something about it. And they went, no, it's fine, it's completely fine. And then the nurse was well, she was, you could say it was negligent, because she wouldn't help me. She just put her finger in there and she wouldn't open up the strap and see that my foot was turning freaking red. But then there was the orderly. He comes in, and I've seen him a few times. This isn't the first time that I had a problem with him, but he starts yelling at me that I deserve for the stupid foot to hurt because I'm the one who hurt myself, and I shouldn't be self-mutilating, and he's screaming at me, and pissing me off. Honestly, I don't like getting screamed at. It doesn't happen to me a lot. I'm not the kind of person that gets screamed at. Generally rule, so it really freaks me out. So he's screaming, you shouldn't be doing that. You just stop hurting yourself, and we wouldn't have to tie you to the bed, and then you wouldn't have your foot in the problem, and my job is not to help your foot. And I'm like, well, you come in, it's your job to come in here and check every 15 minutes. He says, well, yes, it's our job to check, but it's not my job to help you. Is it? Crap, but that's freaking the point, isn't it? You come here, you check it 15 minutes to see if I need helping. But no, he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't. Just wouldn't. It frustrated me to no end, and he was yelling at me, and I was this horrible person who just wouldn't get it together, and I should be fine by now, and clearly. I'm watching myself getting very upset on this video. It's funny. Okay, now what is I saying? So they leave the room without helping me. Once again, it's 2 in the morning. I've been strapped down for 4.5 hours. I'm so tired, my foot hurts like hell, and I can't fall asleep like that, honestly. I'm usually very passive and very shy, but I got pissed off enough that I just clanked the side of the bed about a bazillion times for like 10 minutes, so I was making a lot of noise. And they didn't come. So, I started singing a cappella as loud as I could, screaming, side of the bed. This is a song that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend. Yeah, I went really long, constantly singing for about 10 minutes, as loud as I possibly could, and about 5 minutes later, this mean orderly man comes in. He opens the door and he looks very upset at me. But of course, I don't often get the chance to sing a cappella at the hospital. But I swear he deserved it. And then the one nurse was worried because I was making noise and waking people up, and then I was like, you know what? Seriously, I needed help and you didn't give it to me, so this is just your dessert, okay? So finally, after he yells at me some more, and I'm getting more anxious because he's yelling at me for being a self-injurer, honestly, and that my foot, you know, leave it alone, whatever. And finally they open it, and there's this big red foot, and I'm like, ha ha ha! I told you so. I told you. You suckers, you jerks! I was yelling for hours and saying, help me, and you said it was fine. Oh, it's not fine. It's not fine. Look at the foot. Look at the foot. So, I was very glad to have been proven correct, and that I wasn't some, and they were like, they weren't gonna tie me yet because I wasn't calm. Well, why do you think I wasn't calm? So, I'm tied to the bed until 3 in the morning. Of course, they gotta leave me tied to the bed at 3 in the morning. And they say, now they're letting me go because I'm, okay, now they're letting me go, and I said thank you. I actually had the good grace to say thank you to that awful man for untying me, and he said, you should thank yourself because now you're gone. Okay, if I wasn't tied down, I would have reached out and strangled him. Okay, so that was that. I made it. Okay, then the next morning, I told him he was mean. That was good of me. I said I don't always say what I think, but I told him he was mean. And he says, oh, well, you should make a complaint to your doctor. I said, you know what? I'm going to do exactly that. And I made a complaint. I filled out the form, and I talked to this lady, and he wouldn't help me in the foot. And now I got a big old rash, and the trauma, and I didn't want him to lose his job or nothing. I just wrote that I wanted him to respect me despite the fact that I was hurting myself. So, hey, I guess that is sort of... Hey, was that on March 1st? So maybe I did that on March 1st. I think I did. Or 2nd. Or, it was close to it, so whatever. So I did something for self-endurers, and I fought for rights because this jerk was yelling at me for being a cutter, and I should stop doing that. And I really should stop doing that. Like, duh, I should stop doing that, but I was tied to the bed, and the fact is that I was already punished for what I had done, and I didn't need him yelling at me at 2 in the morning, and although I did enjoy singing in the bed, that was an experience I will cherish because it annoyed him, especially the face he made when he came back. I will never forget, and I will thank myself forever for pissing him off. Well, that was just one experience. There was also people, you know, saying, you get for attention, you love being tied to the bed. Yeah, clearly, I love being tied to the bed. I cut myself just so I'd strap down. Yeah, that I'm doing it for attention, yeah, well, that's what I get mad at. I get mad at that, and I tell them, whose attention? Yours? Who's that? Like, you deserve my attention. I'm gonna actually cut myself for you. Duh. That's really selfish. Like, honestly, you think you're the belly button of my world? I'm gonna cut myself for you? That's really ridiculous. Honestly, that's stupid. Yeah, lady, get over yourself. Yeah, so maybe I might talk about other things, but I'm coming up on the 10-minute mark, and I can't go past that, and I'm probably getting really annoying right now. So I'm gonna stop the video and post this, and I feel better. I'm less pissed off right now. I think venting has helped. So, okay. Oh, I wrote a poem in isolation. I'll post that next week.